Before I go into my story of change, I would like to invite you to the place where I have learned the most about change. I'm one of those people who you've heard about that claim to have strong relationships with God. And the place in which I see Him the most is right here, in my garden. The anticipation I feel when I walk into my garden each morning is indescribable. And the reason that I anticipate coming into my garden is the simple fact that every day there's something new, something has changed. And so this is the place that teaches me the most about change. The journey of change can be as pivotal as it can be silent. I would like to invite you now not just to my garden, but to listen to the story of 3 women. And my hope is that as we hear their stories and as we hear them speak, that something in the things that they say will resonate with us and will inspire one of 2 things in us. Inspire us to change or cause us to inspire change in someone else. For the next few minutes, we'll be looking at inspiring change from 3 different angles. And the first is from the past. If I wander through my past, then I am so certain that there are a number of pivotal moments, or as Oprah would say, aha moments, that have caused me to consider change. The question, I suppose, that is worth considering today is, have we responded positively to every moment that has nudged us and has said, change, turn in a different direction, or inspire someone to change? Dr. Cordelia Kweme is one such woman who has, as most of us do, certain moments in her past that have nudged her in the direction of change.
I'd say I've had 2 light bulb pivotal moments in my life. One was in 2007, where I attended the summit, Nigeria Meets the World. President Yaradua brought a group of professionals from all walks of life to New York and presented the opportunities that were in Nigeria. And I'd say that was one point where I would say a point of self-actualization, where I realized that it was time to come back home, that if one was comfortable with living in a nice house, driving a nice car, and a nice job, America was the place. But if you wanted to make a difference, that it was time to come back home. And that was how the journey of coming back home came about. I'd say the second most inspiring and pivotal moment, again, was when I attended the Winihin Jemide series. And this was in London in November 2013. It was about women in government and politics, increasing the numbers and progress, something to that effect. But one of the things that I took away was her statement that it wasn't about opening the doors, but it was about expanding the entrance. It was about sustaining women in those areas. It was about visibility and access, and then how do we progress? And so I thought, well, this is the reason why I'm back home. I felt a very strong sense of nation, a very strong sense of purpose, and met so many women that inspired me who had also taken incremental steps as they grew in their various walks of life. And I thought, well, this is going to be my first journey in the arena of public service in Nigeria. I know one has to take it one step at a time, and I believe that this is the beginning of that journey.
Take courage and move on. The story of my dearest sister and friend, Karen Koshoni, speaks to courage, and it speaks to sisterhood. It speaks to coming to an end, waiting, pausing, and then it speaks to starting again.
Ever since I was a child, I was very particular about my room. My room had to look a particular way. I was always picking up little accessories. But I started interior design, say about 15 years ago, and I started with blinds. I absolutely have no formal training, so all this was instinct, just basically pure, I love this, I love that, and just hoping that people would love what I love. So we did that, bought a few items, got the store opened, and to our amazement, people loved what we bought, and people started coming in. The blinds took off also in Nigeria. About 2 years ago, I had a slide down where I had to give up the store and literally start all over again. When I moved into my home and I had no business, and the only thing that I knew was interiors. I had no money, literally, to start a business, but I knew that that was what I had to do. There was really no left or right. It was just all, what can you do? So I was at a point where I had absolutely no money, and I just literally had to draw on some of my the work tools that I had from my previous business, and just basically whatever talent that I had in me. I made new business cards, just anything that could kind of promote me and make me look a bit professional. It just goes to show what determination can do, because I was determined. I had 4 children, and I had to keep them thinking everything is okay, and I couldn't show them that things were not really as they thought it was. So I had to also keep myself inspired. So yes, I am surprised that from nothing, basically, to now, I look around me and, you know, work is coming in, people are still calling for me to do their homes, and I'm still able to, I mean, from that day, I've gone for every show.
It goes absolutely without saying that the journey of change, as with any journey, is sometimes arduous. As we listen to another sister of mine, let us remember that the fact that sometimes change is delayed doesn't mean that it will not come, and that in our today we will continue to take the steps needed to make the change that is coming tomorrow vibrant, beautiful, and indeed a part of our story. Ndudi Amangbo speaks to us next.
I knew I had to do something when I return to Nigeria, but I didn't know what. And the same year I returned, I went to Dubai for the first time in 2008 on a family holiday. And we went to the Wild Wadi. And we played there for the whole day, and everybody was well entertained. And I wondered, why don't we have something like this in Nigeria? I'd lived in America for 10 years. I was used to the big theme parks. And that was the first time I was kind of introduced to a smaller size park. And that birthed something in my spirit and a desire to see Nigeria have a mid-size or a small-size amusement park that will entertain people for a whole day. When I first decided to pick up on the dream, I had the dream in 2008 and I left it fallow. I left it as, I saw it as a very big task, something that would be next to impossible to attain, because of the amount of money that I knew would be required to take on such a huge project. So I kept it very far away, and from time to time I would massage it. But in 2010, I got a clear leading to bring it down from the high pedestal that I had put it on and to start working on it. So the first thing I did was to learn all I could learn about the amusement park industry. I joined the International Attractions and Amusement Parks Association. I started to learn gradually. I spoke to people who did feasibility studies for such projects. I spoke to architects. I spoke to, people who had the know-how outside the country, and I realized that we didn't have much expertise in the country. I knew it was a project that would require a lot of management know-how, and I enrolled at Oxford, went to their SAID Business School, did a training in management for some months, and then I started putting plans to paper. We got an architect, shared the vision with him. We started to come up with a plan. Then we started the process of costing that vision. But I found that the process of getting local financing was really tedious. The requirements were really strenuous. So after a year of working with the local banks, I gave up on local financing. I mean, I've had people say to me, you know what, maybe you should leave this alone. Who's going to give you the amount of money that you need? This country is not ready for this. I've also had people encouraging, saying, you know what, you're doing a good job. Go ahead, one day it will stand. So it's been a mixture of disappointments and encouragements. But with every turn, I would always find something to make me hold on. And in the holding on, the consultant called. She said, I've got someone who's interested, who's willing to, fund based on what you have. But their demands were a bit achievable. So we're working with them now. And, and one of the things I now decided to do this year was not to wait for the big money, but to start gradually. So this year, we are actually going to have a fun fair at Easter for the first time on the land. It's not at the scale we wanted to start out, but it's a starting point.